Topic of today is what to do when you have no business. What do you do when you have no business? Stay tuned and let's listen. All right, so let's talk about what to do when you have no business. People say, well, what do you mean by that? What I mean is, let me give you an example. I was in a class teaching some young entrepreneurs, people who want to start their business, and the part of the subject we were talking about was your variables, your fixed materials, fixed costs, variable costs, and of course your PSIs, which is basically your profit. And so by the time they asked me, different questions, and I propose a question to them about each of their products. And one of the questions we ask is, if you don't know your material or your product down to the very cent, then you need to get on that. And so the question that I ask is, tell me something about your product. And I give them an example. I say, okay, well, what if I wanted this? How much would this cost me? And then they would say, well, it depends. If you want this or what this, the price is kind of, adjusted depending on the material or the flavor or, whatever it is that you want. So I asked them, I said, well, when you're doing cost, and if you know that there's more than one way to make your product, a different flavor, a different style, a custom fit, I was saying that you should have a cost sheet for every situation possible that you can think of. A lot of times we wait till the order comes in for us to try to create it. And my thing is that you want to try to do is try to create that order so it's already in place, and you almost kind of want to think ahead what the customer wants. And so the statement of what to do when you have no business, meaning that if you're in the beginning stages of developing your product, or you're waiting to get your first client, or you're doing a lot of advertising, you're not busy right now, when you don't have any business, nothing is going on, this is the things that you need to be doing in your free time. In other words, every day of the week, every hour of the day, when you get free and you're not doing anything, you should be addressing things about your business that people may want to know. Like those questions of, how much would this cost if I wanted this? Or how much would this cost if I wanted that? So you got to come up with a certain type of price sheet or whatever it is to focus in on your business. When you're not doing anything for your business, when you don't have any business right now, you should be looking at perfecting the craft and find different ways to perfect it. Find different ways to get it out to the public. There's a saying that I hear is coming to my mind when I was reading and learning how to start businesses and learning how to sell. And as I said in some of my other presentations, is that selling is going to be a big part, and learning how to sell. A lot of people don't know how to sell. They just assume that they got a good product and people are just going to come and word of mouth and whatnot. But you have to learn how to sell. And what he would say all the time is, that once you learning how to sell, you have to put yourself in the marketplace. And it took me a minute what he was saying when he said that, but what he means is you have to go into the marketplace to learn how to sell. In other words, you have to go out into the public, talk to people, set up a booth somewhere that that you can get people to come to your booth and spark a conversation about your product. Get them intrigued about it. Get people to think about your product. So when you don't have any business, these are the things that you need to be doing, is learning how to perfect your craft. Try to figure out how many different ways can I make this? Can this product be sold in different areas? What the costs are going to be? what the cost is going to be if I change it up. If there's a certain different way. I was sharing with a young gentleman, he wants to open up a restaurant. Well, right now, he doesn't know the variables for a restaurant, and that's what we're working on with him. Is the fact is, what is your variables? But I asked him, what if somebody to right now ask you, say, hey, can you come cater a party for me? Could you do that? Yeah, I could do that. Well, how much is it going to cost you? What type of price sheet would you give that person if they wanted to cater their business? You to come and cater their business. He didn't know. And I said, this is what I mean. This is the type of things that we got to think about. When you're in a restaurant, you may not go right into a building right away. You may have to start catering. You may have to start up a fan base. You may have to just do some pop-up shop somewhere, you know, and sell your food just to get people, you know, get people to like your food. But I said, and the key of doing that is when you don't have any business, you have to go out in the marketplace. You have to set up certain things. But the key behind that is when you're out in the marketplace, what we share with them is if you're out there and you're giving free samples or you're selling your food, you have to collect data. Data is very powerful. It's very powerful. And what I mean by data, is when you collecting this information, you have to make sure you're getting their names, telephone numbers, emails, and addresses. You want to build yourself a database so that when you have these people who come to your booth or have tried your food, or whoever sampled your food or purchased your food, you want to keep them in your database, and you want to be able to stay in contact with them. Maybe you want to do a pop-up shop in a different part of the city, and you want them to come visit you, and you want to give them a discount because they were already at one spot, and you want to, you know, you may want to come out with another dish, and you want them to come out and eat it and taste it and give a feedback on it, you know. So you want to start collecting that data before the business takes off. You want to have people coming into your restaurant. You don't want people, you know, you're not just gonna go spend all this money for a restaurant and then go start marketing and try to get people in. You're gonna go broke that way. As I used to say, you're gonna starve. You want to build a fan base before that restaurant is built. You want to build a fan base first. So that means that you got to get out there and get people to see you, get to know you. Technology today is making it so easy to do. This Facebook page and Instagram, and every pop-up shop that you put out, and every person that purchase anything from you, they need to be taking pictures. They need to be taking pictures with you and posting it up on your page, saying, hey, another tax return down. So we did another tax return is down, or another customer, a satisfied customer, or somebody who enjoys our product, or you want to thank such and such. And you want to put this on your Facebook page, or just put it out there to gain that attention, so people can come find out what you're really about. So when you what to do when you don't have any businesses, start to perfect your craft. Perfect it in a way that how can I spend this 10 different ways and make it work? And what is it going to cost? If someone come up to you today and wanted a custom order or custom something, can you provide that and come up with a good detailed price range of what is it going to cost? So, for example, we had a young gentleman who makes doors. So he makes a lot of wood doors. He wanted to know how does he come up with a variable cost for his doors. And I told him the same thing. How many ways can you make it? And he gave me 5 different ways. I said, well, for every way you can make that door, then you should have a price sheet for it. From down to the very last bolt, to the very last wheel that's used to spin, that you roll the doors with, the tracks that the door lay in, you have to come up with a price sheet for every situation that you could possibly think of. Different door sizes. You know, go around, look at some of these houses, or these, get online, look at some of these different door manufacturers who are already selling the same product or similar to it, and see how their price sheet is broke down. See what their material costs look like. Or let's see how detailed they have their materials, and then you can follow that same pattern but come up with your own price for every piece and use that to kind of give you an idea of how you should start preparing your materials and the price sheet for your business. So the question is what to do when you don't have any business. Perfect your craft. Spend time perfecting your craft. Spend time perfecting what you're good at. All right, talk to you guys.